Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to check out the Hornet King channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys the removal of a European hornet colony, Vespa Crabro, that I removed for a client, brought it back to my house, and relocated it to my barn. I constructed a special enclosure for them that has two clear plastic sides on either side, so that way I can get shots from either side of the nest while they're constructing from inside my barn. Plus, I have an update on the Bald Faced Hornet Nest that I relocated to the window of my barn, so now you can see from the outside and the inside. Here's the video, guys. Check it out.
They came in yesterday from Colorado, so
wow.
This is like our entertainment.
That's great.
I guess I was picturing more of them.
Yeah, that's exactly
so
what I
that's
was
why
picturing.
Okay.
So this is a European hornet colony, Vespa Crabro, that decided to make their nest just above the soffit here at this client's house. It's just outside of their sunroom where they spend a lot of their time in the evenings and things. Initially, where they were planning on coexisting with the hornets, but as they started to notice more activity as it progressed throughout the season, they were seeing a lot more activity and hornets making their way inside of their sunroom, so they figured it's time for them to go. European hornets, Vespa Crabro, are a cathameral species, which means that they fly and are active just as much at nighttime as they are during the daytime. So foraging adults will go out and forage for food and collect cellulose and things at nighttime, as well as during the daytime. So upon investigating this this colony here, I was able to find them just above the soffit. Luckily, they weren't going into the wall space or anything. So there's a lot of activity in this nest, and as you can see, one of the hornets at the very bottom, which is on one of the queen cell or the queen comb, you can see that she is mechanically processing the head of a katydid right there. So she was chewing that up, and she would end up passing that around to other adult hornets, and then she would feed them to the larva. So you'd feed all these mechanically processed pieces to the larva to eat. So adult hornets will fly out, kill bugs, kill insects, process them up, and sometimes they actually cut them up at location and not at the nest. They'll cut them up and then they'll keep returning back to that spot where they killed it. This one is probably that case, because she cut the head off of it and then she would bring it back to the nest and chew it up and then pass it around to her sisters and then feed them to the larva. So there was another piece of comb here. There was a queen cell, actually where that hornet was that was processing the katydid head. That piece had fallen off while I was removing it, so I put that in the bin already. That'll have some importance at the end of the video. So initially, when I came to do this nest, I wasn't planning on doing any relocating. There was several removals this day, and I was not going to be able to really keep this nest cool or anything. So I just planned on removing it, kind of kicking myself in hindsight. So retrospectively, I wish I would have just bagged the nest with a lot of the foragers on it, so that way I would have had more for the relocation. At the time, I wasn't planning on relocating it. I was planning on just feeding it to the girls, so just vacuumed up a lot of the adults and things. Just doing a little bit of cleanup here, just trying to get a lot of the envelope and stuff out of the cavity space before I put the soffit back on. So once I got the nest home, I actually had it in the bin for about a day, and I wasn't really planning on relocating it. But then a lot of adults started hatching out of their cells, so I just was like, well, I'll just try it and just try to see if I can relocate it, because I've always wanted to relocate a European hornet colony. So I drilled a hole into my barn there, and that was going to be the access port that they were going to use to be able to fly in and out of this box. This box I had constructed a while ago, one of my earlier videos of a European Hornet Queen Adventure series, and I was trying to get a European Hornet Queen that I'd found in my woods to basically start her nest in there. It didn't really work out, so I just had this box lying around, and it has two plexiglass windows on either side, so that way I could get multiple angles of the nest as it's being built, along with an access port on the bottom. So this proved to be invaluable for this particular relocation. So I decide to do, when I do my relocation nests, I will hot glue them to wherever I'm going to put them on. So if it's on a branch or if it's on some sort of apparatus that I build myself, hot glue works really well. So in this case, you're just seeing the edited down part. I spent a lot of time trying to hot glue this nest to this board. European hornets are a larger species, they have larger larvae, and their combs are a bit heavier, so it can't just be easily glued onto a piece of wood. So I had to spend a lot of time really caking glue to the back of this comb, then propping it a certain way just to get it to sit, and then you have to let it dry. So a lot of times when I do my bald-faced hornets, I'm holding the nest upward into a position to try to get, waiting for the glue to solidify. However, with this one, it was great because I just flipped the lid upside down and then hot glued it and let the weight of the comb sit and push into the glue while it dried. So this is the queen cell, or the queen comb, and since it had fallen off the main comb, or the main nest, I didn't want to just hot glue it to where the pupating adults would be coming out from. So when wasps build their structures, they have a lot of support structures that connect the two different layers of comb together. And oftentimes they build them right over top of cells that are capped from larvae, so their pupating adults that start to emerge can't actually get out. So it's pretty barbaric. So I didn't want to do that, so I just hot glued it to the board next to the main nest. So now that I flipped it upside down, it was able to hold its structure. It didn't fall off. The glue was solidified enough that it held it in place. And so I just screwed down this board then, the lid onto the top. And you can see there's two paper towels, and those are where the holes are for the entranceway. I just have it blocked up until I was ready for to put the box in place. So you can see here the glue's holding great. It doesn't look too pretty, but they're going to cover that with envelope anyway, so you'll never see it. So this is the inside of my barn, where the entranceway that I made. So I'm taking out the two paper towels now, so that way I can line up those holes so they'll be able to have easy access in and out of my barn. And then same as I did with my squirrel box on the other side of the barn in the greenhouse for Humphrey, I just use a bungee cord and hold that top part of the box in place. And then I was going to be putting a stilt at the bottom just to kind of give it a little extra support that props it up against the ground. I don't want anything too major permanent here, because I want to just be able to remove the box if the colony fails, or if I, at the end of the season to remove the nest. I don't want to have to be unbolting a box from the wall of my barn. So this is the same day. You can see there's a lot of activity already starting. They're trying to acclimate themselves to this new space. So they kind of just hang tight in the comb for a little while until they become more comfortable and kind of get their bearing, and then they'll start flying out and foraging. They like a lot of darkness. They build their nests in the dark. So if I open this up and start shining the light in there, they start getting more active because they don't like the light on the nest.
That's the queen in the center. Starting to build some envelope up top. And they're building comb. Wow. That comb in the middle there. That's new. And it looks like there's eggs in it already. Come on, stay up there.
Alright, so this is day 3. And you can see that comb is already getting bigger. They're adding a lot more to it. And there's even more adults flying around inside this box. So there's even more adults hatching and things. Something I haven't gotten in all the videos that I've made about wasps and hornets, I have not gotten good shots of wasps building comb. People often ask in my videos about including shots of them building comb. Well, I now finally have the setup to do that, and what better way to show it than European hornets. European hornets are one of my favorites besides Bald Faced Hornets. So you can see how they're starting to make the structure of the comb. It doesn't start out as a perfect hexagonal structure. It actually kind of starts out a bit conical, and then as they start building the tube, then it starts gaining that form of a hexagonal shape. I love these shots too, because if I shine the light directly into the plexiglass, it kind of puts like a haze on it, like a glare. So I shine my flashlight up from the bottom through the little glass port that I put at the very bottom of the box, and then that way it illuminates the whole nest, and then it doesn't put glare on the plexiglass for my camera. You can even see the fine little hairs on this worker's abdomen and her thorax while she starts to just manipulate the comb structure. So this is the Bald Faced Hornet Nest that I relocated from Lancaster City, Pennsylvania. You can check out this original removal and relocation video by clicking the tab at the top right corner right here. So I bagged this nest, and I brought it home, and I mounted it to the window of my barn because I wanted to be able to get some good shots of the inside of the comb as it developed. So when they start building the envelope around, they'll start chewing down the inner layers, and it'll expose the comb to the window, so I'd be able to see it from inside of my barn. So this is like day 2, and this is about a week ago, about the size that they have now. And then this is yesterday, 8/14, and this nest is already humongous. It looks so good. They have been just leaps and bounds progressing in this colony. There were a lot of adults inside, and they had just been building and building and building, which has been great. So there's about 8 layers of envelope on this nest now, and they're starting to tear down the inner layers so you can see from the inside of the nest, and it's best to see it at nighttime since the sun isn't glaring in through the glass. So this is the inside of the nest. So this bit of envelope on the first layer, they started chewing it away to use that envelope to build more comb. So they fly out, they collect old decaying wood matter and cellulose, they bring it back to the nest, they build the envelope, and then after they start getting enough layers of envelope, they start tearing down the inner layers to expand the comb. So the comb has to get bigger. Well, if the nest is only one size, they have to tear it down from the inside to allow for more space. So the envelope that they tear down, they turn that into the comb structure. So they mix up all those lines and those different colors and things on the envelope. They mix that all up, and then that turns into just the perfectly gray matter that you see here. So this is great. This is actually 1:30 at nighttime. So people often think that when wasps fly into their nest that they go to sleep, quote unquote, but that's actually not true. When wasps come home at nighttime, they all come into the nest. They're very much active, tending to larvae and building the structures. Wasps are active and inactive sporadically throughout a 24-hour period. So they're not all asleep at one time or all awake at another time. They are sporadically awake and asleep throughout the daytime and nighttime. So these are great shots from underneath to be able to see the larvae, and as they're expanding the comb layers, and it'll probably eventually be right up against the glass by the time that this is all said and done. Alright everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to check out the Hornet King channel. If you guys enjoyed this content, drop in the comments and let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions for future videos, something like see me covered in an upcoming video, also drop in the comments and let me know. If you guys haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so and hit that bell notification down below. That way you guys get an update anytime I do post a video. Thank you to all of you who donate to the Hornet King channel through my crowdfunding campaign. If you guys would like to donate to the channel, follow the link in the description here in this video. If you guys can't support the channel financially, just being here, liking, sharing, subscribing, and promoting the videos helps grow the channel exponentially as it reaches more viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in to check out this video and supporting my channel, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.